a big theme through the A&E documentary on Dusty Rhodes is issues with pro wrestling and being on the road and maintaining a family life, which you really can't. And unless you bring your family with you to every territory you go to, which oftentimes is not really practical. How do you maintain relationships and marriages on the road? It's got to be difficult, and as somebody who's been on the road many decades, you'll have an insight.
Well, a lot of guys would seek out territories where they could stay, and Charlotte was a good territory for that because they kept guys for a long time. Florida maybe, Texas maybe, and Memphis would keep guys. Maybe the little crew around them. I was in that crew for about 5 years, and I was you're in the standby bunch. But if you got to move every year with a family, it's very, very difficult, and it's hard on the kids. It's hard on the husband and wife, and that's why the divorce rate in wrestling it was really high. There's been a lot of stories about, say somebody gets mad at Ric Flair, and they know he's going to a certain town and he's going to be doing a certain thing, and they tip off his wife, and she goes to this other town 100 miles away, and they give her a time because this informant knows all this is going on. And she knocks on the door, opens the door, and there's Ric Flair. I don't know if this really happened, but Ric Flair, and there's a woman in the room. So the wife has the goods. And Rick has been married 4 or 5 times.
5.
And I think and a lot of wrestlers have been caught that way. Terry Funk got caught one time and kept telling his wife that no, he don't remember it. That's what I heard.
Gaslighting, a perfect gaslighting.
And finally, I think they say, and I love Terry, but I think she believed it. And hell, now I believe it. Yeah, if he told me. But it was very difficult to keep a family together, hard on the kids. But it would be, say I was living in Tennessee, and I went to Florida. Well, I'm going to be gone at least a month before I get back to see the kids or see my wife or anything. When I went to Puerto Rico, it eventually becomes either the job or the marriage. And you can see why. Because the wife didn't marry a guy who's going to be gone all the time. She wanted him to be there, like husband should be, to support the wife, support the kids. And he could be sending her gobs of money, but still it's not the same thing as he's there. Tough life.
Yeah.
It really is.
What percentage, and this does relate to the documentary as well, especially with Dustin, but what percentage of wrestling sons do you think got into the business simply to be closer to their father?
Well, actually, I read that question. I think it's actually the percentage of wrestling fathers who got in to be next to their sons, who got them in. There were some wrestlers who didn't want their kids in the business, I'm sure. But I would say that most of the guys I know, and you're saying guys who wanted to get in the business, I think Jeff Jarrett wanted to get in, but I don't think his daddy wanted him to get in that much. But he said, I want to do it. He said, well, okay, let's go. And he got him in, and he's been very, very successful. And Dusty got Dustin in, and then he helped get Cody in. And it's like Vince McMahon got his whole family in. So I would say probably the percentage wise, I would say all of them that got their sons in is like at least 100%. They wanted to be They wanted to help their son succeed in the business they didn't understand.